A 95-pound Doberman, returned 3 times by 3 different families, flagged "Do Not Adopt" in red ink across the front of his file. A dog 2 shelters had called too aggressive, too intense, too dangerous to ever be trusted around a small child. But on a warm afternoon in June, when a 2-year-old little girl slipped out a back gate and fell into a pond, this so-called monster, the dog nobody wanted near a baby, went into the water after her and refused to leave her side. And what he did to save that drowning little girl shocked everyone who heard the story. Lauren Reyes was 29 years old, and for 9 long months, she was doing all of it alone. Her husband Daniel was an Army staff sergeant deployed to the other side of the world since the first week of February. The time difference meant their video calls came at strange, scattered hours, 5 a.m., 11 p.m., whenever he could scrape together a signal. That left Lauren on her own with their 2-year-old daughter Mia on a small rented property 11 miles outside Clarksville, Tennessee, with a dark tree line out back and a half-acre pond sitting at the bottom of the sloping yard. Lauren counted the deployment first in weeks, then in video calls, then in the number of times a day Mia asked where Daddy went. She slept badly. She kept the doors locked, her phone charged, and a knot of low, constant worry sitting just under her ribs. 2 women on neighboring properties had had break-ins that spring. Lauren was the only adult 11 miles, and on the bad nights, she would lie awake doing the math on how long the county sheriff would reach a house this far out. The answer was never comforting. And then there was the pond, that still, green half-acre of water at the bottom of the slope that Mia, over the last month, had become absolutely fascinated by. Lauren wasn't exactly looking for a guard dog. She told herself she just wanted Mia to have something to grow up alongside. But the truth was, the house felt very big and very empty at 3 a.m. A woman from the base family readiness group volunteered at the county shelter, and one Saturday in April, Lauren drove out with Mia on her hip, not really expecting to come home with anything. That is where she saw him. Last kennel on the end, lying flat against the concrete with his head down between his paws. 95 pounds, black and rust, cropped ears, a body so lean you could count the muscle every time he breathed. He didn't bark, he didn't get up, he only lifted his eyes and held her there from across the room. His file was a graveyard of rejection. Adopted, returned, adopted, returned. 3 times, 3 families. The first said he was too intense around their kids. The second lasted 13 days. The third left him chained to the shelter fence before dawn with no note at all. He had been sitting in that kennel for 287 days, and there was a small red sticker on the corner of his file that the shelter worker, a young woman named Tasha, explained without quite meeting Lauren's eyes. "He's down to his last few days," Tasha said quietly. "Nobody adopts a 95-pound Doberman flagged aggressive, and you've got a 2-year-old on your hip. I'd completely understand if you walked away." "Has he ever bitten anyone?" Lauren asked. Tasha shook her head. Not one time in 287 days. He doesn't lunge, he doesn't growl, he just watches everything. People can't handle a dog that watches that hard. Lauren crouched down. The card said his name was Duke. He didn't move for a long moment. Then Mia reached one tiny hand through the bars before Lauren could stop her, and Duke, this so-called dangerous dog, leaned forward and gently rested his enormous head against the baby's open palm. Tasha actually gasped. She said, "He has never done that, not once, not with anyone." Lauren signed the papers that afternoon. When she told Daniel on their next call, he went quiet for a long time and then said, "A Doberman, Lauren, with Mia?" She turned the phone around so he could see the dog already lying across the nursery doorway. "Come home and meet him." The first time Duke was loose in the house with Mia, Lauren's heart was in her throat. Mia toddled straight up to the enormous black dog and threw both arms around his neck. Duke went completely still. Then he folded his 95 pounds down onto the floor and let her use him as a pillow for the better part of an hour. By the end of the first week, the rules were his, not hers. Duke had one strange habit Lauren never fully understood. He would not settle at night until he walked the entire perimeter of the house, nose to every door, every window, the same loop in the same order, before finally lying down across the threshold of Mia's room. When the meter reader came around that first week, Duke slid silently between the stranger and Mia's stroller and simply stood there, 95 pounds of stillness, until the man finished and left. He never barked, he never bared a tooth. After that, the delivery drivers took to leaving boxes at the end of the gravel drive. If Mia so much as rolled over, he was on his feet before the monitor crackled. And something in Lauren loosened that she hadn't felt since February. The nights stopped feeling like one long-held breath. The first time the loneliness came on hard, Daniel 6 time zones away, a thunderstorm rolling over the tree line, Lauren crying quietly at the kitchen table at midnight, Duke crossed the room and pressed his 95 pounds against her leg and just leaned until the worst of it passed. He didn't whine and he didn't move. He stayed until her breathing slowed, and for the first time in months, she fell asleep without checking the locks twice. When Daniel finally saw the dog properly over a long video call, Duke lying with his chin 2 inches from Mia's high chair while she dropped Cheerios on his head, the skepticism drained right out of his face. "Okay," he said, his voice rough over 7,000 miles of bad connection. "Okay, watch over my girls, buddy." For 2 months, that quiet house at the end of the road felt almost full again. If you've made it this far without subscribing, I'll be honest, that one stings a little. Stories like Duke's only get seen when you hit that button. So if you believe dogs like him deserve to be remembered, subscribe before you read on. Then, as the weather warmed into June, Lauren noticed Duke doing something new. Mia's fascination with the pond had turned into a mission. Every chance she got, she would make a beeline down the sloping yard toward that green water. And every single time, Duke would move. He would plant his 95 pounds directly between Mia and the slope, turn her gently with his shoulder, and herd her back up toward the house. He started refusing to lie down on the porch unless he was angled toward the bottom of the yard. He had decided, all on his own, that the pond was the enemy. Lauren noticed. She just didn't understand yet how right he was. Twice, she carried Mia back up the hill while Duke paced anxious circles around them both, and twice she told herself she'd get a fence put around the water as soon as the next paycheck cleared. The fence never came in time. It happened on a warm, still afternoon in the 3rd week of June. Daniel had managed a rare long video call, and Lauren took it out on the back porch while Mia played with her stacking cups on the deck. For maybe 2 minutes, Lauren looked down at the screen, at her husband's face, and let herself forget everything else. When she looked back up, the deck was empty. The back gate was standing open. Mia was gone, and so was Duke. For one white-hot second, Lauren's whole body locked up. The open gate, the slope, the water. Lauren was off the porch and running down the slope before she had finished screaming Mia's name. She crested the little rise above the pond, and the sight stopped her heart. Out in the green water, churning hard toward the bank, was Duke, and clamped carefully in his teeth was the backstrap of Mia's denim overalls. He hauled her the last few feet and dragged her up onto the muddy edge, and Mia came up coughing, sputtering pond water, screaming the most beautiful scream Lauren had ever heard. Duke planted himself over the little girl's body, soaked to the skin, and refused to move an inch, even as Lauren slid down the mud and gathered her daughter up. Somewhere in the wet grass behind her, the dropped phone was still connected, and Daniel was shouting her name from 7,000 miles away, watching the whole thing through a patch of sky and grass, unable to do anything at all. The paramedics came 12 minutes later and checked Mia from head to toe. She had swallowed pond water and scraped both knees, but her lungs were clear and her color was good. She was only under for seconds, one of them told Lauren, glancing at the soaked Doberman pressed against the little girl's side. If that dog had waited even another half a minute, we'd be having a very different conversation. He didn't wait. He went in the second she hit the water. And the strange behavior of the weeks before suddenly made perfect sense. Duke hadn't been stubborn about the pond. He had understood, long before anyone else, exactly where the danger in that yard lived, and he had been standing guard between it and the little girl the entire time. Daniel's deployment ended 6 weeks later. The first thing the staff sergeant did when he came through the front door, before he set down his bag, before he even reached for Mia, was drop to his knees and wrap both arms around a 95-pound Doberman. The local paper ran the story. Then a station out of Nashville picked it up, and the county shelter that marked Duke for euthanasia received 64 adoption applications in a single week. Tasha called Lauren just to thank her and could barely get the words out. She said the whole town had heard about the dog that went into the pond. Today, Duke is 7 years old. Mia is 4. There is a tall new fence around the pond now, but Duke still walks his perimeter every single night, the same loop in the same order before he lies down across Mia's door. She still cannot pass that dog without flopping down against his side. And whenever anyone asks Lauren if she is afraid keeping a 95-pound Doberman around her little girl, she just shows them a photo Daniel took the day he came home, a soldier on his knees and a black dog with cropped ears leaning its whole weight into him, like it had been waiting for orders all along. When a dog refuses to leave your child's side, don't call him clingy. When he stands guard over still water you can't see the danger in, don't call him dangerous. Sometimes the one the whole world threw away is the only one already watching the exact spot where everything could go wrong. Duke didn't need any training to pull that little girl out of the pond. He only needed one person to look past the red sticker and let him stay. So, was Duke born a guardian, or did a 2-year-old girl who hugged him through the bars of a kennel make him into one? Tell me what you think down in the comments. And if you've ever taken a dog the world had already given up on, share their story below. Somebody scrolling alone tonight needs to read it.